Hey, what's up, everyone? We have another exciting update for MyListing Pro. So I've been working the past couple of days on just bringing more and more features into this thing. What I have pulled up on my screen is the new documentation site for MyListing Pro. That's docs.mylisting.club. I highly recommend you go over there and just see all of the exciting features that are rapidly coming to this plugin. Get the plugin, get into the pro community, get in there with your feature requests. Let me know what you need added to this thing. Get support for it. Let's just push the MyListing theme forward faster. Okay, that's the idea behind this. If you haven't seen the introduction video for MyListing Pro, I highly recommend that you do. Also, drawing special attention to the top of this docs page, we are currently under founder pricing. So the pricing will go up eventually. So get in there before that happens. This thing's people are loving this thing. It's like growing like wildfire. So definitely get in there and be part of this movement. So let's go ahead and dive in to these features. Starting off with the new WooCommerce module. And I want to make it really clear again. I'm going to start driving this home more and more in each video. MyListing Pro is not a theme. It's a plugin. It's 100% safe to install this without worrying about it changing your theme or your website files. So if down the road you decide MyListing Pro, I'm just going to get rid of it and I'm just going to roll with the MyListing theme, you have nothing to worry about. You're just going to go right back to the same feature set you had before you installed the plugin. So what's exciting about this is in the past, we had to update theme files. We had to go into the child theme, put some stuff in there, or we had to drop code snippets in here and code snippets there. It's just harder to manage. So this is just going to make everyone's life easier. And it just sets the stage for being able to do exciting things, which you're seeing. You're going to see in this video as well as the previous videos I've already done. So, okay. So the first thing is a new module called WooCommerce. So this is going to be set the stage for the place for everything related to enhancing WooCommerce as it relates to a MyListing site. So what things can we do to make our lives as website owners, as MyListing website owners better? How can we better monetize? How can we make the experience better for customers? Things of that nature. So if we go over to click on the left-hand side here under the menu, click on the WooCommerce menu item there. So like I said, this whole module is brand new. We have a few features in there. It's just the beginning. So let's go ahead and go through the first feature, which is the display free instead of $0 for free products. Okay. Again, this previously was a code snippet. Now it's just stupid easy to enable this. So if you go over to MyListing Pro, we're going under WooCommerce. So click into this configure button for the WooCommerce module. And we see display free instead of 0 for free products. And this isn't actually new. This is, I have this at the bottom of my changelog. I should have put it at the top. This I already went over. It's actually, I believe I went over this. If I haven't already, we'll just cover it again. But this actually got moved from MyListing Tweaks and Fixes. I moved it over to WooCommerce since it's WooCommerce specific. So, okay. So what this does is, let's say you have a product that is free. Okay. So we go into one of your listing packages. We see here that in the back end, it is $0 every month, but you don't want to display that on the front end. A lot of people don't anyway. So we come over here to our pricing. Here we go. So instead of $0 per month, we want to show the word free in there. Okay. And it works whether you have a front facing pricing page, which you see here, or if you're going even through the ad listing process, it's going to be the same. All right. Okay. Next up is billing email column. Okay. So these are a bit, we'll go in order as it's listed here. So autocomplete order status. Let's do that one next. So what this is automatically move paid WooCommerce orders to completed status without manual status updates in the admin. So you don't have to go into the admin anymore and mark an order complete. Typically what you have to do in cases where orders get stuck like processing, you need a separate plugin for that. So that's no longer the case here. So I'll let you guys read through this entire section, but just know that this is taken care of. And under MyListing Pro, it's just a matter literally of just checking this box and you're good to go. But like I said, if you want to read about this, this replaces a separate plugin that's typically needed. All right. So that is a nice convenience option. Next one is, let's go back up here, billing email column. This was before, this was a separate plugin as well. So that's gone now. So what this does, if we go into our orders, so WooCommerce and orders, we now have this billing email column. And so we're showing the email address of the customer. We're also able to sort this column by email address. So you can quickly find out, all of the orders by a particular customer. And if you need to email them, for example, then the nice convenient thing here is you've got this link. You can just click this link and it's going to fire up an email. So you don't have to go open your email client, copy in this email address. It's just nice and convenient. And this works whether it's on the orders table or if you've got WooCommerce subscriptions, you'll see there's a billing email column added to that as well. I think that covers all of that. Yeah, these are a bit out of, no, these are in order. Okay. Make sure I've got all of this covered. Sortable, clickable. Yep, we've went through that. Yep. Okay, that covers everything. So that is all three of those features in WooCommerce, in the WooCommerce module. Like I said, this is just the beginning. Get into the community, get the plugin, get into the community. Then once you're in there, let me know what you guys need and we're just going to build it. Okay. We're just going to get this stuff done and get on with our lives. Okay. All right. Next up, we are going to live in the MyListing Tweaks and Fixes for the rest of this video. So we go down here, click on this link, MyListing Tweaks and Fixes. Lots to get into here. The first one is access of what's new. Access listing links in the WP, so the WordPress block editor. Okay, so previously with MyListing, you couldn't do this. So if you go into posts, for example, go into this post, and I, just as a pro tip, I recommend that you create your post content in the WordPress block editor. And then you use Elementor Pro templates to output the content as well as add extra design and flair. So do not, under any circumstance, I just can't emphasize this enough, do not write your blog posts in Elementor. Do not do that. Write it in the WordPress block editor as you see here. Get used to building things in the block editor. It's just the way it should be done. People that create blog posts, content, the actual content portion in Elementor their lives are going to be miserable going forward. You only use Elementor Pro for to template your posts. Okay. Ask me in the community if you have more questions about that. But you add the content here to the block editor. You output it if you want. You don't have to, with an Elementor Pro template to add more design and other content. Okay, so let's just say you're in here in the block editor and you need to reference a listing for some reason. So here is a link to a listing. Okay, we come in here and what if I wanted to make this a link? Okay, let's make this a link. I'm going to start typing in the word demo. That's the name of one of my listings, demo. We see that right here. Without MyListing Pro, you cannot do this. You simply cannot access the listing URLs this way. Okay, so there we go. We save that. View this post on the front end. Here we go. This is my link to a listing. There we go. Okay, next up is, let's go back here to MyListing Pro. I'll just keep this up from now on. There we go. Okay, next up is increase the maximum allowed single listing cover details. All right, so if you go over to listing types and you go into single page cover details, without MyListing Pro, you are limited to just 3 items in here. MyListing will throw an error and it will say you can only have a maximum of 3. Now these can be mix match. You can do like none up at the top 3 down here, 3 calls to actions down here, or you can mix and match. But my listing is going to throw an error as soon as you hit 3. So as you can see here, we can now add as many as we want. Obviously, you don't want to add a ton because you've only got so much space in the cover area. All right. So if you're not familiar with that, that's this area right here. That's where you can add buttons and just information. You've only got so much real estate to where you can add stuff anyway. But I have found cases, and clients have found cases where they needed 4 or 5. But now we just have that flexibility to do whatever we want. All right, next up, and that's just, again, just a simple checkbox. Okay, next up is prevent media from being duplicated when cloning listings. Okay, so this applies in the back end here. So I've got, and also the front end, but if I come in here into this listing, let me add a logo. And I update this. Okay, so now we've got this listing in here. Now let's say that I wanted to duplicate this listing. I don't want to keep creating duplicates of this logo over and over again. Okay, let's look over in the media library. And we see this is the image we're using, right? All right, let's go clone this listing, duplicate it. And this is an important piece. You have to use MyListing's built-in duplicate features. And that's this button right here. Okay. MyListing Pro also eliminates another plugin by allowing you to duplicate any post type. That's a completely different setting. But that's this right here. When you hover over the listing name, you see that duplicate link. That's something entirely different. So you have to use MyListings button right here for this to work. Okay, that's intentional. We could make it work under here, but we want to stay within the bounds of the MyListing theme. So if we click this button, we duplicate it, this listing. We can go ahead and just approve it so it publishes. So it looks like we've duplicated the image, right? But it's actually the same image. So if we go over to the media library, there we go. We see that it's just that one image. So that's really important when you're cloning listings. You don't want to have to go back later and clear up hundreds of images in there, or maybe you forget to do that and you just start filling up your server with images, and you don't want to do that. So now that you've cloned that listing, you can come in here as the admin, and assign the actual images that you want. So that's just one example of a logo. Now imagine you have a cover image. Imagine you have a bunch of gallery images. You don't want to have to go back and clean up after that. And it's just faster too when you do it this way. This also works on the front end. Okay, let me go ahead and refresh this. We see the logo is in there. If I was to go under my account and go under my listings and use the duplicate option here. So we've hit duplicate on that listing. If we go back into our dashboard, oh, maybe I didn't hit it there. Let's go try it again. There we go. Let's go ahead and choose our package. That's going to make me put in some required fields. Let me go back here real quick and let's just change. I think I did LT1 there. Let me make some of these not required real quick. So little sidebar here. Yeah, so the reason I made these required is because if you didn't know, MyListing Pro now includes an option where you can easily, see right here, this asterisk, you can easily show what fields are required. So that is another awesome feature that I introduced a while back. All right, so anyway, let's go back here. Let's go back under, let's start over again. So we go to our listings. Let's go ahead and just delete this one. Okay, so now let's duplicate. Now we should just be able to publish. We see our logo is in there. All right, let's go ahead and just submit this. There we go. So now let's refresh. There we go. It looks like we have 3 images duplicated, but if we go to our media library, we see that we still have just that one, okay? So this is a really awesome thing that we're bringing to the theme. All right, so the other important piece is now that image is tied to all of those listings. If I was to go get rid of that original image, it's going to disappear from all 3 of those. So that's something to keep in mind. But typically when you duplicate a listing, you come in here and you're going to put a different image on these. All right. But you can see where this could be useful also in cases where, what if you have a coffee shop that appears in, 50 different cities? You want that one image, right? You want that same logo to appear in all of them. So you're also saving space on your server by just using that one image. So there's just so many benefits to using this. If we go back over into MyListing Pro, you have the option here. So you can say prevent media from being duplicated when cloning listings in both occasions, meaning in the backend in the WordPress dashboard and in the user dashboard, which we just witnessed both of those. Or you can do both, which I would do. Or you can turn it off. It's off by default when you get MyListing Pro, which is the case for everything with MyListing Pro. Everything is off by default. You guys make the decision of what you want enabled and what you don't want enabled. Okay. I also want to take this opportunity before I forget. MyListing Pro is included with all MyListing starter sites. So if you buy one of those sites, starter sites, the full starter sites, or the light ones, you're going to get a copy of MyListing Pro. You just need to get a license, which you're probably going to want to do. You don't have to, but you're probably going to want to do right away because you see how fast we are rolling out updates to this, and you're going to miss out on all those. Plus, if you get a license, then you get into the Pro community where you can request features, which is huge, and get support. That's another huge one. All right, let's move on to the next feature. This one is awesome. This one really gets me going. Okay, so in the past, let's go over to our listings. In the past, you see this badge right here, whether this is in preview cards or in the actual listing, we would get this verified listing badge that is it's like the old Twitter color of blue, I think they were pulling from. But it was like this pale blue, which is fine. But pretty much 99% of us are going to want to change this to our branding. And before MyListing Pro, we had to upload a custom SVG file to our child theme to get this to work. And you had to set the color of it and all that. And it was great, but it was not that great. So now this is super, super cool. So now you come back over here into MyListing Pro. You're going to scroll down to the custom verified badge section. You're going to turn it on. By default, that badge is going to default to your theme brand color, your accent color. So that's under theme tools, theme options, accent color. So we are defaulting to that for your convenience once you turn it on. If I come over here, click on select color, let's just do like green. How about that? Save our changes. Refresh. There we go. Just that fast, we've changed that verified badge, and it's going to change it all across the entire website just that easily. I'm super, super excited about this. I've already gone through the MyListing Club starter sites and put this in place. So I was able to remove that custom solution of uploading a tick.svg file. Like that's gone. I've removed it from my Influence WP project, all because of MyListing Pro. All right, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go back here and say, click on the default option. That puts me right back to that accent color. Okay. Next up is Listing Promotions Modal custom link. This is another one I'm super excited about. Let's turn this off actually. And let's go over here to our dashboard, our user dashboard under listings. And I'm going to click promote here. When I do that, I have this promotion modal, but there's no education here. Like customers often come in here. What is this? Like, what does this even mean? Okay. Wouldn't it be cool if we could add a link in here, a custom link, customize it however we want, link to like a support page, a documentation page, your pricing page, whatever the case may be. I did this in the past by editing a theme file and placing it in the child theme files. Those days are gone now. All right. Now watch how cool this is. We turn this on. We have the ability here to choose our URL from a dropdown. So it's going to pull from our existing pages on our site. Let's just put this on pricing for the fun of it right now. That's going to populate in here to show you what the full URL is. You can override this by putting your own link in here. Okay. So that is that. I'm going to clear this out. Here is your link text. I put a default piece of text in here for you. Learn more about listing promotions. You can put your own custom text in here if you want to. If you want to open the link in a new tab, you just check that box. All right. So right now we are linking to the pricing page, and we're just going to go with this default, learn more about listing promotions. I also want to point out, well, I'll actually point this out here in a second. All right, let's go ahead and refresh this page. Let's promote this listing. Here is our link at the bottom. Learn more about listing promotions. If I click on this, it's going to open in a new tab. It's going to go to my pricing page. The last point that I want to make here is people are going to ask, where are these callers coming from for these links? Where those are coming from is Elementor. So whatever you set in your Elementor settings for your link callers, that's automatically going to work here. Okay. So refresh one more time, promote. Here's that link. Awesome, right? Okay, that is, so if you're watching this and you happen to have that old way of doing things, you can go and remove that from your child theme files and just roll with this within MyListing Pro. All right, guys, that is it for this video. As soon as I hit publish on this video, I'm going right back to it. I've got a huge list of features coming, but get the plugin. It's growing like crazy. The customer, there's a lot, people are buying this thing like crazy. Get it before the founder pricing goes away. But get in there and let me know what you guys want. So it's not just me saying what this thing's going to get. I love your guys' input. What problems are you facing? What's a feature you wish was in MyListing that we can potentially bring to MyListing Pro? Let's help you monetize, do things faster, make the user experience for your customers better. All right, get MyListing Pro, and I'll see you all in the next video.